the things he hears and how his ears, bro, it makes me smile. Again, you don't want to be tense when you're around your loved ones. And if we're creating together, all the layers can come down of the idea of we're working on song, like whatever.
So the internet has been absolutely obsessed with Justin Bieber and this musician Eddie Benjamin lately. Their friendship is everyone talking, and I mean everyone. Social media is completely divided, with some people convinced that they are just creative besties, while others are straight up calling Eddie Justin's secret boyfriend. The speculation is literally everywhere right now. So this whole thing blew up after this random podcast dropped some tea about Justin being super affectionate with some guy friend at a Coachella after party. The podcast didn't actually name Eddie, but it took approximately 0.2 seconds for the internet detectives to decide Eddie was definitely the guy they were talking about. And then, boom, suddenly TikTok and Twitter were flooded with evidence, analyzing every photo, every interaction, every single time they've been spotted together. But let's talk about who Eddie Benjamin actually is, because there's way more to him than just the rumors. He's a 23-year-old super talented musician from Australia who's actually kind of a big deal in his own right. He's been playing bass since he was super young and eventually made the move to LA to pursue music seriously. The thing is, he's got legitimate skills as a producer and songwriter. Like, he was making waves in the industry even before the whole Justin connection became his defining characteristic online. Before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys. Okay, let's get into the next section. What's interesting about Justin and Eddie's relationship is how quickly it seems to have evolved. According to people who know them, they started off with Justin kind of taking Eddie under his wing in the industry, classic mentor-mentee vibes. But over time, they've apparently become super close collaborators and actual friends who hang out all the time. Like, they went from professional acquaintances to practically inseparable in what feels like no time. The professional side of their relationship is actually pretty significant. Eddie isn't just some random guy in Justin's entourage. He's credited as a major songwriter, producer, and vocalist on Bieber's latest album, Swag. Industry insiders are saying Eddie's influence is all over Justin's new sound, which is a pretty big deal considering how protective artists usually are about their creative direction. Justin has apparently given Eddie an unusual amount of creative input, which shows how much he trusts Eddie's musical instincts. There's also this whole interesting backstory with Eddie being mentored by Sia before he connected with Justin. Apparently, Sia took on this almost maternal role in Eddie's life and career, helping him navigate the music industry and develop his talent. Some sources have suggested that Eddie has a pattern of forming these intense creative relationships with established artists, first with Sia and now with Justin. It's like he has this ability to create these deep bonds with major stars that blur the lines between professional collaboration and personal friendship. Eddie's journey with Justin has been pretty wild when you think about it. He literally started out as just another opening act on one of Justin's tours. You know, that person everyone ignores while waiting for the main event, but somehow Eddie managed to completely level up from a random opener to becoming one of Justin's most trusted creative partners. Now they're constantly in the studio together, and Justin is even promoting Eddie's solo stuff on his socials. That kind of career glow up doesn't happen without some serious connection. Now, here's where things get a little messy. There's been some not so subtle hints that Hailey Bieber might not be thrilled about how close these two have become. Several sources close to the couple have suggested that she feels somewhat uncomfortable with the amount of time Justin and Eddie spend together. And apparently, there have been situations where plans with Hailey were changed because Justin wanted to hit the studio with Eddie instead. I'm not saying there's actual drama there, but the vibes definitely seem complicated. Social media has noticed Hailey being less enthusiastic about Eddie in recent months compared to when they first started hanging out. Despite all the speculation, people who actually know both Justin and Eddie insist their relationship is 100% platonic and purely based on their creative chemistry. According to multiple friends who've spoken out, they just get each other on a musical level that's rare to find. One source described it as two musical soulmates who finish each other's sentences in the studio. Their defenders point out that intense male friendships are often misinterpreted in our culture, especially when there's physical affection involved. Justin's team has emphasized that he's always been an affectionate person with his close friends, regardless of the gender. If you've seen any videos of Justin and Eddie together, it's easy to understand why people are talking. The body language around each other is super comfortable. There's lots of casual touching, inside jokes, and this vibe like they're in their own little world. At a well-known celebrity's party, witnesses said that they were practically attached at the hip the entire night. And then there was that TikTok where Justin had his arm around Eddie's shoulders for literally the entire 3-minute conversation with some producer. I'm not saying it means anything, but I totally get why it's raised eyebrows when you see how they interact in public. The whole situation really highlights how weird our culture is about male friendships, especially in the celebrity world. Like 2 women celebrities can be besties and literally sleep in the same bed during sleepovers, and everyone's just like, oh, friendship goals. But when 2 guys in the industry show any kind of physical affection or emotional closeness, suddenly everyone's convinced there must be something more going on. Social media has taken this whole thing and absolutely run with it. The hashtag Jenny has millions of views on TikTok, with people analyzing every single interaction between them. There are entire accounts dedicated to exposing their relationship with zero actual evidence beyond the fact that they hang out a lot. What's wild is how these rumors keep spreading even though there's literally nothing concrete supporting them. It's basically just vibe-based reporting at this point. People see what they want to see in normal friendship interactions. The algorithm then rewards the most dramatic takes, which is why your For You page is probably full of these theories if you clicked on even one video about them. Regardless of all the gossip, what's actually undeniable is Eddie's legitimate impact on Justin's music career lately. Music critics have pointed out that the Bieber sound on Swag feels more authentic and more interesting than his work has in years. Several tracks that Eddie co-produced had been singled out as standouts on the album, and studio insiders say their creative chemistry is obvious to anyone who's seen them work together. One engineer described watching them complete each other's musical ideas, like they share the same brain. So even if you strip away all the friendship drama, Eddie's contributions to Justin's artistic evolution are significant enough to explain why Justin keeps him close. This whole situation does raise some interesting questions about where professional relationships and personal ones begin, especially in creative industries. Like when you're making something as personal as music together, the lines naturally get blurry. It is actually possible to maintain strict professional boundaries when you're pouring your emotions into songs with someone. Plenty of music duos throughout history have had complex relationships that weren't easily defined. The intensity of creating art together often forms bonds that look strange from the outside, but make perfect sense to the people involved. This may just be another example of the artistic phenomenon, rather than anything more scandalous. What's clear is that they formed a connection that's benefiting both their careers. The rest is just speculation driven more by our cultural assumptions about male friendships than any concrete evidence.